do keep that up. The last one of this one, sexual intimacy, guys. And I know this, you know, kind of is a taboo subject, but we have to scrap that approach and scrap that perspective of sex being taboo, or, you know, oh, we don't talk about sex because obviously you talk about what you want to talk about, but don't feel like, you know, discussing sex and intimacy with your partner is something to be ashamed of, because it's not. It's part of your marriage, it's part of your relationship, it's part of who you are. Sexual intimacy, so relating to the instincts, physiological processes and activities connected with physical attraction or intimate physical contact between individuals. Now this is important. Sex is important in marriages because it allows that connection to be like, sex is also a spiritual thing as well. So be careful who you're laying with, women, because it is a spiritual thing as well. You literally embody the man's spirit when you're laying with them. You know, that's definitely something to look into if you're not familiar with things like that. So moving on. Number 4 being acts of service. So this, number 1, when I thought acts of service, I thought, what could it be? Like, what do people actually gain when someone does an act of service for them? Because essentially I feel like people could do things for themselves. Yeah, anyone can do things for themselves. But when you do it, it makes your partner's life easier. And, you know, you're not there to completely do everything for your partner and completely take on all their roles and all their chores and everything they do. However, it makes their life easier. Like that day, you don't know if they've had a stressful day at work, or, you know, if the children stress them out, or whatever it be, or if they're even just not feeling great. Like that could even just be simply it. But when you share chores, it could even be simply by cleaning, helping with more household responsibilities that you normally do, and also doing things to help your partner get through their day. And I'm telling you, when your partner does this, it gives you such great peace of mind. Like when my husband does things that, you know, he's great within the household anyway, but those days that he's on it and he just like he's mad, so he's got to do things that day, I'm like, right, I leave him as well. Because when you start saying, oh, you know, oh, this isn't quite right, or that, you just seem ungrateful. Like, always be grateful for the things that your partner does, because at the end of the day, if you keep being ungrateful for it, they're not going to want to do it. And then who loses out? Really, you lose out, because they're doing something for you. They're meeting your love language. So make sure you be grateful, and so you get that love language met, because that one is so important. Number 2, invest in your partner's happiness. Supporting your partner's dreams, unplanned vacations and sorry, let me read that again, because that was all messy. Supporting your partner's dreams, unplanned vacations and activities, providing peace, safety and emotional protection for each other. Now this one is so important, because emotional protection allows your partner to be able to understand where you're coming from mentally. If they're not emotionally intelligent, I'm sure there'll be problems, especially for us women. Our feelings care, our feelings matter. Same for men, even though they may not express it as much. If this is one of your partner's love languages, invest in your partner's happiness, regardless of whether you think, you know, that they show it or not. Because one thing that I found within my marriage was that I should not look to my partner for happiness. I should not place my happiness in them. However, when they do it and they invest in my happiness, it's completely a bonus. So find your happiness for yourself first. Make that your priority before you go and look for it in your partner. Because if they don't do it, does that mean you're never going to be happy in this life? That shouldn't be the case. So when I made that decision that, no, I'm going to stop placing my happiness in my partner, I literally, like, my life changed. And that's not even a joke, because I found happiness in loads of different things. And I was just so appreciative of many more things and grateful. So yeah, that one is definitely important. Number 3, taking physical care of each other, being there excuse me, to take care of your spouse when they are physically sick, unable to move, or providing relief and doing healthy activities with them. Now this one is really important as well, because some, like me and my husband, we're really conscious with what we eat. So for example, like we'll make a smoothie, you know, to break our fast at 12 o'clock. So whether we both know that we need to do it, right? So whoever gets downstairs first and is around the kitchen at that time, we'll be like, babe, do you want a smoothie today? Yep, do the smoothie. We don't even be like, oh, babe, like, oh, I made it yesterday. So no, that doesn't matter. Take physical care. Invest in your partner's health. Invest in their well-being. Do you get what I'm saying? It's so important, because at the end of the day, when they're sick, you look after them, isn't it? So it makes sense that if you invest in them, in their health and their care, hopefully they won't be sick, literally. Like, hopefully what you're investing in and the health you're investing in is paying off. Yeah, and it definitely provides relief when someone's physically sick and they can't take care of each other. When your husband does it, it means so much more as well. Okay, so moving on. Receiving gifts. And I know, you know, we love gifts as women. I love gifts myself, but that's not particularly one of my love languages, so to speak. It's not one of my top ones. So the thought counts with action. Think of what your spouse needs based on active listening, and pay for their peace of mind, happiness and pleasure. And I've highlighted that because number one, active listening, as I said previously, is so important, because you acknowledge, you know, what they're saying, you're taking it on board, you're there, you're in the moment, you're focusing on them. They matter in that moment, right? And also, when I say pay for peace of mind, like, my husband is a person that will rather pay than struggle. And especially with me as well. Like, I know I don't like to struggle, but I'm that person that's like, I don't mind, you know, going the extra, I don't mind going the extra mile and, you know, not paying as much, because, you know, I'm slightly frugal I used to be when it comes to stuff like that, not gonna lie. But my husband's very like, I'm like, if we're running late, let's just get an Uber. Because if we miss our reservation at the Ivy, which is one of our favourite spots to eat, if we miss our reservation, it's not gonna be fun. So me, I'll be like, okay, cool, let's pay for Uber instead of trying to drive and find parking and do this and get into traffic, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I mean by pay for peace of mind. Pay for what makes things easy, pay for what makes your spouse happy. And you know, this is how you create love and peace and harmony within your marriage. Like, all these little things that you do for one another is what creates these things that I'm trying to help you guys with. So the gift is in giving. Gifts are a gesture of care, thoughtfulness, and the desire to make your spouse feel cherished. And those women that love gifts, they love gifts. I've got friends that this is one of their top love languages, and when they get gifts, they love it. It makes them feel warm inside, it makes them feel cherished, it makes them feel loved. So if this is one of your partner's love languages, please do not drop the ball on this, because they may be looking at you a little bit sideways, and we don't want that to happen, do we? So yeah. And number 3 is give freely from the heart. In essence, it is a social lubricant, a way to celebrate life, love and friendships, and become a better partner, spouse, friend or person. So this one goes across the board in terms of relationships. When you give freely from your heart, you don't expect anything in return. And especially if this isn't one of your love languages, you won't be fussed of, even as simple as, I got them a gift for their birthday, so I need to expect one back. I feel like in life, we do what we can when we can and what is within our capacity, right? So if you want to give freely from your heart, don't expect back. If you want to give money to somebody, if you want to, lend money, just know that that money may not come back. So if you give someone something, do it from the purity of your heart. Do it knowing that you're capable and able to, and also do it knowing that you are not going to lack. Like, I've done things for people because I know, like, especially friends, when you're close tight with your friends and you know, like, number one, me doing this for them will go a long way. And sometimes, like, you answer the phone when a friend has an issue, right? And you just feel like, yeah, me doing it is just literally like, you don't even think of any negative thing to it. I feel like it's so important when people give freely from the heart, because it gives you, like, your sense of character something positive about yourself, and it speaks highly of you. You know, you don't do things to gain things back. It's not a tick for tack thing. It's not a thing whereby, you know, if they don't do it, then I'm not going to be their friend, or whatever the case may be. But if you don't do it from the heart freely, it will show, and that is not good. There's no point of doing things, you know, half-hearted, because then you might as well have not done it. It will show, and then that person may not fully appreciate it, and then you'll end up getting mad for them not appreciating it when you didn't want to really do it anyway. So that is the last one of our 5 love languages. I hope you guys really gain some perspective. Now guys, I've read this book, The 5 Love Languages by Garry Chapman, and it changed my relationship. So I want you guys to go and get this book, The 5 Love Languages by Garry Chapman. I'm gonna, link it down below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think, and I will catch you on my next video. Bye guys.